Hello and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm joined by joint manager John Underwood ahead of the final home game of the season tomorrow.
Hi John.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. Very well.
Looking back, it's been a difficult week for Slough after the Easter weekend. What are your thoughts now?
Thoughts now are all very positive and looking forward to tomorrow. Obviously, as you said, the weekend wasn't a good one for us. It came as a bit of a surprise given how we've been playing in recent months. To be fair, we've been on a great run. Obviously, we knew they were two tough games, but we certainly didn't expect to come out of them with no points to show for it. So, yeah, it was obviously knocked us sideways a little bit on Monday, but we do need to keep in mind where we've come from, particularly since Christmas. And to be going into the final game tomorrow with in a playoff position with our fate in our own hands is a great position to be in.
Yeah, I'm reflecting on the overall season. I'm sure that given during some points during December and maybe even during the difficult start of the season, you'd have bitten people's hand off to say you're controlling your own fate going into that last 90 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever really been expected to win the league. It's the first season at the club for myself and Neil. A lot of changes on the playing side. Of course, you go into the season with that as your aim, as a lot of teams do. But we had a slow start, and I think pretty quickly we were all very much aware that our target was to get in the playoffs, and whether that's second or fifth, in our minds has very little difference between coming second or fifth. So yeah, if you'd have said back in August, or certainly as you said after the difficult December we had, if you'd have said we were in this position, would have been delighted to be here. So we are delighted. We're feeling really positive about it. We've got obviously a game that we need to win tomorrow. If we can do that, we have the same chance as the other three teams in the playoffs to get promotion. And that's a great situation to be in.
You've had your hands tied at some times during the season due to injuries, suspensions, and also player availability. That's been challenging and kind of led to some situations. And now, what's the latest on the squad situation? What's the squad news for this weekend?
Yeah, we have had some problems. I mean, we've obviously in Adam Fowler as the skipper, who's been out for a while now, and we all know about how long he's out for. Scott Harris picked up an injury about a month ago when he was flying and scoring goals. I think he scored a hat-trick the game before, and then he got injured.
Johnny Dyer, Guy Hollis, you've had name after name of...
The list is endless, but we've got a good squad, and there's probably only a few occasions where we've gone into games where we could really point to the injuries. I mean, what it's not enabled us to do is put together a settled side week in, week out. I think when we've been able to do that is when we've had our best runs. But I don't want to make a massive thing of it. I think it has been our toughest year injury-wise, the toughest year I've known. But we're at a big club. We've got a good-sized squad, and that's part of the game. And I'm sure other clubs will have had similar situations as well. In terms of this weekend, obviously the two that I mentioned are out, but we're not in bad shape. Good news last night was that Sean Fraser came through training with no problems. He obviously limped off on Monday, so he's an important player for us. Ryan Parsons, who injured his hamstring on Saturday, was able to do some running. He won't be. It will be too soon for him tomorrow, but we're hoping he can do a little bit more tomorrow in the warm-up. And if we are able to get to the playoffs, he would come into contention, hopefully, on Tuesday. Other than that, we welcome back Dave Woosley and Steve Duff, who were both unavailable last weekend. Woos was back in time to train last night, so it's great to have him back. The other one we're missing is Adam Cornell. Adam, when he joined us, had already booked up to be away this weekend. So we knew that when he joined, and that was just one of those unfortunate things. But we're confident with we've got a strong 16-man squad tomorrow. So we think we've got good options.
How's the atmosphere in the camp? Obviously, after a difficult week, it's yours and Bakes' job to kind of build back belief and to tell them the right things. What was the focus in training, and how did they respond?
Yeah, we didn't want to dwell too much on the weekend. We were quite critical of the lads in the changing room at Aylesbury on Monday, and I don't think anything we said wasn't deserved. I think they all agree with what we said. I think they knew it themselves, and they were disappointed with what they gave us, particularly second half at Aylesbury. But there's no point coming back on the Thursday and dragging up the same points again. You know, it was about moving on and drawing a line under it, and we did that. You know, we did that last night. It was a very positive session. There were smiles on the faces. We had a bit of fun. We had a good chat at the end of training, just ahead of tomorrow's game, just to talk about one or two things. And yeah, everyone was there. The whole squad was there, and we left in very, very positive spirits. So you know, you have to sometimes draw a line under bad games, bad weekends, and that's what we've done. And you know, that's forgotten about now. We've got a very clear objective tomorrow, and we're all focused on it.
What do you make of Chertsey? There's a lot of unrest. There's newspaper articles about them resigning from the league. All sorts of different bits and pieces going up. What do you think they're going to come into that game looking at?
Very difficult, really, to know. I think you know, the fact they've resigned from the league, you know, they don't technically have anything to play for. Although I'm sure, as a player, I wouldn't want to finish bottom of the league, so they'll be looking to make sure they're above Ashford come Saturday night. Yeah, very, very difficult to know exactly. I mean, obviously they've been struggling a bit. They've had a couple of heavy defeats recently. They've actually done well away from home. They've struggled. I think they've lost 8 on the bounce at home, but they've picked up some good wins away, notably Beaconsfield. So they've been to Holloway's Park and won not so long ago. So, you know, psychologically that will give them a lift. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, we can only worry about ourselves, and we need to make sure. You know, we've talked about it in the same vein as the Ashford game, which was the game obviously before the Easter weekend, where we were superb and where we came out the blocks flying, and we're asking them for a similar start tomorrow.
Looking at the league overall now, obviously a really interesting result at Egham the other night, where they managed to beat champions-elect Daventry and really dent their title hopes. So there's now 4 sides going into that final weekend of possibly champions. Who do you think will win? First question. And secondly, who do you think that will then leave in playoff position number 2 that will be the likely host for Slough's visit next Tuesday?
Obviously, if we get the job done.
Obviously, if you get the job done. Now, you know, I'm positive here.
Yeah.
I'm sending out those messages. So,
well, I'd say obviously Dunstable are in the driving seat. They're top. You look at all 4 games that they've got. You know, all 4 sides are good sides, and you'd expect them to. You know, we're looking at thinking potentially everyone will win, and if they do, obviously Dunstable will win, and Rugby will be in that second spot. So if we were to get there, we'd travel to Rugby. But they're not easy games for any of them. I mean, Dunstable are playing Uxbridge, who are on a good run, a dangerous side. Rugby go to Hayes, which is never easy. Daventry only just won there recently. I think Daventry have got Chalfont, another side, you know, no pressure on them. It's very difficult to call. I mean, we knew Daventry's game would be tough at Egham on Wednesday. I don't think anyone saw a 4-1 defeat, but we knew they'd have a tough game there. It just goes to show when you're in those positions, there's a lot of pressure. And games that on paper look easy games aren't easy games. And, you know, I don't think anyone expected us to get beaten 3-1 at Aylesbury on Monday. So these results just keep surprising everyone. We'll have to see. You know, we're, as I say, very much focused on our job. Once we get that done, we'll turn our attentions to who we'll be playing. Obviously, whoever we play, it will be a bit of a trip midweek. And it will be a tough game, because all of those 4 sides are obviously very good sides. You know, maybe an advantage if you end up playing one of the sides who are expected to win the league. They find themselves in the playoffs where they don't want to be, and we would be in the playoffs, which is exactly where we want to be. So, you know, psychologically we'd be potentially on a bit of a high, and they might not be. But you know, there's so many different permutations. We'll just see where we end up, and you know, we absolutely got to get our job done first.
Are you happy with the recent changing weather conditions that might soften up that pitch a little bit at Holloway's?
Yeah, we are. The pitches have been very hard and bumpy recently. I mean, our pitch has been great all season, but as with all the others, it's been a little bit uneven and hard to get the ball down and move it at pace. Having said that, we've done it on some of the tough pitches. We played some great stuff at Barton. and rugby came to our pitch Saturday and played some great stuff. So it can be done. But yeah, the rain helps. Even the training pitch last night, which has been the same, has been very bobbly. All of a sudden felt green and slick, and we had a really good lively session on it. So yeah, we're hoping it's done the pitch some good.
Final question. Come 5 o'clock tomorrow, are Slough going to be in the playoffs?
Yes.
Thank you very much.